Okay, cue pyro, cue rockets. What? They cut the budget. Well, what am I supposed to do? Improvise? Where are the dancing girls? We are back. The Joy of Bob Ross, a happy little podcast, kicks off a fresh coat of new episodes with today's happy little rewatch. And let me tell you, lots has happened since we took our short little break. The big news, of course, is that I've turned my desk around to now face the wall instead of the window. What do you think? What is this? Wonder Woman Nikki responds. Exactly. In other news, the podcast is headed to Comic-Con in San Diego, California in late July. This is all part of a top secret rollout that involves Bob Ross and a well-known name in the world of gaming. I'm not at liberty to say any more at the moment, but if you're going to Comic-Con this summer, come find us in the Bob Ross booth. We'll be playing said game. And who knows, if we can figure out the tech, we might do our July rewatch live from the San Diego Convention Center. There's also a Bob Ross traveling exhibit rolling out later this year that we're going to tell you about. The folks at the Wall Street Journal did a nice piece on it recently. And of course, we'll be doing more of these rewatch parties. That's what this is. It's our monthly rewatch party on Twitch, our monthly hang time with the Bob Ross fans on Twitch, where we dive deep into a single Joy of Painting episode with some help from some very special guests in the Bob Ross universe. And you can hear all 57 episodes of The Joy of Bob Ross on the Bob Ross channel on Twitch, Spotify, and YouTube. You can even watch a few of them. And shout out to our listeners on Apple Podcasts, even though you can't see us. We know you feel us. All right, let's get into this. Our Joy of Painting episode rewatch is a reunion of sorts. First, with our certified Ross instructor, who we met for the first time in New York City, I want to say 2 summers ago. And not just because he lives there, but also because he had another colorful gig at that time that I'm sure we're going to talk about. Let's welcome back Wesley Day. Wes, how are you, my friend?
Hey, it's great to see you, Ron. Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing great. It's great to see you too.
Now, the last time I saw you, you were blue and you didn't speak.
That's right. We were doing Blue Man Group, having a good time, doing shows. Yeah, that was a really, really, really fun episode we recorded together, wasn't it?
Yes, we're going to show some footage of that, and I'd love to talk about that, not just with you, but with our other guest who we're going to introduce in a short while. First of all, Wes Day, Wesley Day. Let's clear the air here on the podcast. Is it Wes or Wesley?
Either one. It's Wes. Most people call me Wes, but Wesley Day is my real name. So I'm really not very picky at all. Call me Wes.
When I hear Wesley, I think of Mr. Belvedere.
Yes, that's right. Wesley. He had that
very
British,
good.
yeah,
That's exactly
British
how Mr.
accent,
Belvedere
yeah.
says it.
Wesley.
Now, this episode that you speak of, we found out that we have a certified Ross instructor in our midst who is also a member of Blue Man Group. I feel like this was a pivotal moment in the podcast. We had not done a video episode up until that point. It was also an opportunity for the first time for me to go on location, for me to revisit the homeland after having moved out of New York to do this kind of special thing. So
Yeah.
for me personally, it had kind of like there was a special sauce to it. What about yourself? Can you, in hindsight, 2 years removed from this experience, episode 19, by the way, check it out when you get a chance. After this, obviously, tell me about that experience from your perspective.
It was really exciting for me. It was 2 things that I love so much. I love Blue Man Group. I've been doing it for 28 years now, and I love Bob Ross. They have so many similarities. They are in awe at the world around them. They love sharing color. They love making art together. They encourage you to make art together, and it was a really, really exciting time for me to bring 2 things I love together and make something great out of it.
Now, part of the experience that we had when we made the episode was after going to the theater in the East
Yes.
Village and being on location. I had seen this show 2 or 3 times as a fan and a New York resident
Mhm.
prior to being in the theater. So it was really a thrill to be kind of like, behind the scenes, and here's the Blue Men. And I am, I mean, I hate to break the fourth wall, but we were talking and conversing. How are we going to do this? There really was no sort of scripted idea
Right.
for how we were going to present, kind of mold the Bob Ross and Blue Man experiences. And then, if no one has ever been to the show, before the Blue Men come out and do their thing with the percussion and the paint, there are these digital scrolls that were very popular back in the 90s and the beginning of the 21st century. Tickers
Yeah.
that the audience would interact with prior to the show. And you had arranged, I would guess, for me to be in the center of that audience interaction. And I got to tell you, man, I love that kind of stuff. Like
Good.
when the ticker said Ron Scalzo stand up, I was like, I jumped out of my seat. I was so excited about that.
Yes.
So it was really, like a full circle moment for me. And before we bring our next guest on to talk about it more, the Blue Man Group is in New York City, or is no longer a thing. It ended, yes?
Yes, it had a remarkable end to its 33-year run. I was privileged enough to do the very final show. It's something that I'll never forget. So many people came from far and wide to witness it, and Blue Man's going to go on. A show is going to open up in Orlando eventually, and we still have our show in Vegas, and I believe a tour is in the works. So it's still a very exciting time.
Talk about, life as a CRI since we saw you 2 years ago. How have things changed in the world of certified Ross instructing and painting in general for you?
Well, when I was doing the show, I couldn't really teach on Friday and Saturday nights, and now I do that a lot. Every Friday night, every Saturday night, I have a really nice group of people who come to my studio. I'm now teaching in Manhattan on 29th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue. And it's a lot of fun. You meet so many different types of people. Some people who love Bob Ross for who he is and some of the principles that he upholds. And then there was another great couple that came to my class about a week ago and said that they put Bob Ross on. They have a newborn child, and they put Bob Ross on when they want their newborn to fall asleep. And I just thought, wow, that's, everyone loves Bob Ross for so many different reasons. And I think, secretly that also works for me. When I want to fall asleep, I'll put on Bob, and the soft, somber tones of his voice just really lull you into dreamland.
Now, speaking of improv, I was excited to have our next guest on this particular rewatch, specifically because we like to pair up folks in these rewatches like a nice cheese and wine. What kind of cheese would you like to be, Wes? A nice brie?
I would just, why not? Let's go with blue cheese.
Perfect. What was I thinking? What?
Yeah, and I do like blue cheese. Blue cheese is good. I've had it on burgers. It's unique flavor. It's great.
Excellent.
It's great.
This was not what I expected to be discussing with you, but that's how these podcasts go. This dude. He's another friend of the podcast. He's a super talented videographer. He's an improv comic. He's also a New Yorker, and he's the man who filmed and co-produced our Blue Man Group episode with you. Let's welcome to the podcast, Mr. Mark Stetson. How are you, Mark?
Hello, everyone. I'm absolutely pleased to be here, and great to be paired back up with Wes, with Blue Man to Bob Ross, West Day show.
It's good to see you.
We can't get into the gory details about how the three of us kind of came to film this together, but there's a lot of serendipity involved, and I feel like that's been a big part of my experience as the podcast host of The Joy of Bob Ross. And I like to think that Bob is in the breeze. I talk to a lot of other people about that on this podcast, whether they're CRIs, whether it's Mark's cat. We have,
George Harrison.
Whoa, wow. George Harrison is your cat's name?
Yes, sir.
Now we got Wes's perspective, Mark. Talk about your perspective. Meeting Wes for the first time, we went to his studio space in Hoboken, New Jersey, and filmed a bunch of stuff. Then we obviously had the experience at the theater, and you got to see the Blue Man Group perform live as well when it was done. Are you still basking in the afterglow 2 years later?
I am actually. So I every day I still use this Blue Man Group fidget. I don't know if it's not a spinner, but it's like it's
fidget spinner. Yes.
With my ADHD, it's like it has provided me a lot of it's calmed me down many times.
It's a tension reliever.
It is, yeah, and I literally use it every single day. So yeah, but coming on to being asked to produce that, because it was the first video episode of the podcast. Is that right, Ron?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, first being able to do that first and foremost was incredible. Just to be able to have that opportunity, but also because my dad had taken me to see the Blue Man Group, because I grew up outside of New York when I was a kid, like when it first started. So being able to, and being a lifelong Bob Ross fan as well, it was just this perfect, just confluence of all of these things that I love and have helped sort of make me who I am. I'm an improv performer. I've been doing theater since I was 7. So being able to do that, being able to be in the room while you're being interviewed and while you were painting and sharing your life story, and it was really amazing to be able to be part of that.
It was a beautiful day in New York. We got some legit pizza after the taping in the Village, which, as a Brooklyn native, was super important to me, as I think I reminded you when we had our little break. But I think my favorite moment was one of the gags with the Blue Men. Was we had them painting like Bob Ross, and we had set it up so one of them actually painted Bob Ross's his likeness onto the canvas. And I'm pretty sure I spot that painting behind you in the screen. The Blue Men are notorious for signing their artwork with their trademark blue fingerprint, and I believe they did that. And I said at the end of this, knowing what a big Bob Ross fan Mark Stetson is, I said, Mark, you got to keep this. So let's. What did you do with it besides display it during this podcast episode?
Well, I slept with it for 3 weeks. Oh. My camera keeps shutting off right at the point of punchlines, and I think
the camera can't handle all the joy.
It can't handle the joy of Bob Ross.
The camera's breaking character.
But that's Wes, I believe is that your fingerprint?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe that is. Yeah. So yeah. This has been hanging. I took it off of where it was hanging in order to fit, in frame. But yeah, this has been hanging in my office ever since.
And we appreciate the staging, obviously, as it's
of course.
That's definitely my thumbprint. I mean, ever I get accused of a crime, you've got me, man.
That's the real reason why I kept it, because I wanted to be the key witness.
Yep.
People are here to watch Bob Ross, and so are we. On February 17th, 1988, Bob Ross painted one of his most popular landscapes. It's a scene that appears to thaw under the bright sun of a late winter's day. This one's called On a Clear Day. Wes, besides your name being in the title, why did you pick this one?
Well, I think you, first of all, nailed it there, that my name is in the title. And I don't think that's a coincidence when Bob decided to do this episode. I think I really like this episode because Bob makes a lot of jokes. He seems like he's in a really funny mood. He makes a joke about the painting looking like an egg. He makes a joke about, a Navy or a guy in the military having too much ripple. He's just cracking jokes left and right. And I also really like a lot of the color layering he does in the sky. It looks really amazing. And he also uses his finger to make the sun. He does a little finger painting in this episode. There's a lot of brush beating. And and he also encourages you to step back and look at your painting while you're making it. And I think that's one of the key things that we forget while we're painting, is that we always just get caught up
looking right at it. And it's good to look down, step away, and then look at it with fresh eyes. And you'll see all of the mistakes are not mistakes at all. They're happy accidents.
So in other words, Bob hits all the beats in this episode.
He does. He does. Yes. He's in the zone.
He's got that pizzazz. Our technical producer, James Secret Hero Shapiro. He's hiding inside Bob's afro, and he's ready to hit pause on the VCR if and when we ask him to. But right now, he's going to press play on The Joy of Painting, Series 14, Episode 7. It's called On a Clear Day. It's the Bob Ross Rewatch Party with Wes and Mark. Let's roll it.
Welcome back. I'm glad to see you today. It's a fantastic day here, and I hope it is wherever you're at. I tell you what, let's do just a beautiful little colorful painting today, one that it should make you happy. Let's start out and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. While they're doing that, let me tell you what I've done already. I have my standard 18 by 24 inch canvas here. Now I've covered it with a thin, even coat of the liquid white. So it's all slick and it's ready to go. So let's get started. Today, I'm going to start out, use the 1-inch brush, with a little bit of just plain old titanium white.
Early
We'll
observations,
right
Bob's hair and his shirt are primo in this episode.
Yeah,
I spy 1, 2, 3 buttons popped from Bob's chambray shirt, which to me means he's at peak confidence in front of the cameras at this point.
yeah.
You can tell how late in the series it is by how low his buttons are. He just like every season it's just a little more.
By season 30, he's just got an open shirt. Right?
Yeah.
Just beat the devil out of it. Now then, I'm going to take titanium white once again.
Didn't even look at the
Get a
camera
touch
for that one.
of the cad
No,
yellow.
he's in the
cadmium
pocket.
yellow. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's like the
Make
equivalent of a
nice
no-look
bright
pass.
color here. Same
Yeah.
1-inch brush.
I
Like
think
so.
pretty soon he comes to this crack where he makes a crack about it looking like an egg.
Looks like an egg I cooked this morning. There.
I don't know where you're getting your
Certainly
your
don't want to
eggs,
eat any of my
Bob.
cooking. Maybe we'll have a little water down here, and we'll put a little touch of that yellow and white mixture right down in here. Now then,
Darth
I'm
Vacan
going
in
to
the
go right
chat says
into
Bob doesn't need a
little
shirt.
touch of the yellow ochre.
No, he does
I
not.
haven't cleaned the brush. Still has the yellow and white, right into a little yellow ochre. And we'll blend a little touch of that right around the edges. There
I'm
we go.
never happiest when I'm watching him paint on
This
like
is
a
just
brand new
plain
canvas.
yellow ochre. There we are. I want to add a little touch of
He uses a
indigo.
lot of colors in this
Oh
episode.
yeah, that's nice. That brightens
Right
it
away.
even better. There we are. Now then, we'll put a little bit of that down here. And you can just put this on any old way that makes you happy. There, just throw it in. All we're looking for is a little color. We'll come back and straighten it all up and have fun with it later. Right now, all we're doing is just putting in some base colors. All right. Now then, going to take a touch.
I don't know if I could say this
of
person's
bright red.
screen name on the podcast, but
Right
they write when Chuck Norris goes to bed at night, he checks for Bob Ross in his closet.
I'm gonna add that right around here. Like so. There, sort of an orangey color.
Now I know
So I say this is just gonna be
there are
very
400 of these, but this seems very unique already as far as the start goes, as far as the color choices.
So really, really suggest that you use
Yeah,
a little
this is
crisscross stroke.
classic
So
Bob.
much easier. I'm gonna take a little bit.
Yeah.
of
Wes, have
brown,
you painted this
brown,
painting?
brown.
I have not.
Be right back there.
That's another reason why I chose this one. I thought, you know what, I'm going to study here. I'm going to study up.
Prussian blue.
All right,
See if I can include this in my class repertoire.
excellent. So you're double tasking here.
Yeah, I'm
Multitasking.
taking notes.
Outside edges.
Taking notes. Multitasking.
And let it
Yep.
move forward. That way it'll get lighter, lighter, lighter as it mixes with the liquid white. Okay, add a little touch more of that color to my brush. And we'll put a little touch over here. Little crisscross strokes. Blend, blend, blend. Now you can spend a lot of time on this blending if you want. And you can make it, it's unbelievable how smooth you can make
Bob
it.
mentions Agony City in this episode. Has anyone been to
One color
Agony City?
stops and the next color starts. But always work
No.
the light area out. Don't
But
use a dirty
I
brush.
think I've met the mayor
I've been
once.
there. I've been there.
Use that dirty brush on the outside. There. Now, if you wanted to go back and do it again, wash your brush. Wash your brush. There we go. Give it a good shake. And just beat it. That really is the fun part of this. But if you stand back and look at it, then you'll see it.
Stand back. Look at it.
Okay.
Like even
All right,
even
Wes,
though
that's a
it's,
great.
Very light.
Go ahead,
yeah.
Mark.
Go over
Oh
the
no, I was
eye.
saying even though it's kind of like
Take
it's
out the
like
brush
it's
strokes.
still somewhat unclear as to what it's going to become. It's still
That's good.
so pleasing to
Now then,
look
I want
at.
to
Like
put
it
a
doesn't even
sun up
matter.
here, so I'll just use my
Yeah.
finger. And let's go right up in here.
Here we go with the finger painting.
Using the finger,
This part
we
is
can just
mind
put in a
blowing.
little circle. See, that's all there is to it. Now, if you tried to blend that the way it is, chances are it would probably smear. There's a lot of paint. So you can take your knife and come right back up here and let's look a minute. So you take your knife and just go
Wax off.
like that. The value remains in the canvas. See there? And you can do this a couple of 3 times if you want to
Magic.
get a desired lightness. Okay.
Bob just said a
down
couple of
here.
3 times.
We can just bring all this together.
Wes, talk
Just like
about,
so.
from your perspective as a certified Ross instructor, that whole idea of perspective.
So this paint
I've
will
done
be
a couple of
fluid tomorrow.
paintings through
Yeah.
nepotism in this podcast,
that's
and
the
I've
best
been
thing.
told
We're having a
to
fantastic day
do
today.
exactly what
So
Bob
I just
described:
like
stand
something
back
that's nice and bright.
and look at it from a
Sure.
different perspective.
It's true.
And it does look different.
Just
Yeah,
good to be
yeah.
alive
You can
sometimes.
see where the lights are. You can see where the darks
Brush
are.
over brush.
You can see if you're doing a sky like he's building. You can see maybe where I need to blend a little more, blend a little less.
Now, if you
And
want, you could put
yeah,
some little
it's a
clouds
great,
out
great,
there in the sky.
great way to study
I'll
your
just do a
painting and
quick
get
video to
better.
show you
It's a
how
great way to
take a little
improve.
blue, a little bit of crimson, a little touch
And
of white.
see Bob step back and look at it though, but he didn't have to. He's the master.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice. That's nice. That was a
Bob
little.
also says fix a glass of
little
tea,
phthalo blue, little crimson, a little bit
but
of white.
you never really takes
Now then,
never really takes
sand
time to
brush
drink it.
with just a little
No.
bit of color on it. And maybe there's just a little
The magic
floater.
of television.
Yeah.
Just sort of floats around here in the
See,
sky and has
and these
fun on it.
clouds
Maybe
are
comes
amazing.
right on across. We don't know. Wherever you want it.
Not your typical white
there.
fluffy clouds of freedom.
Yeah.
And you put as many or as few as
He's
you
flipping
want
the
in your
script
world.
on this one.
Just want to show you how to do it. Look at that. See, just some little floaters down in here. Where in your world does your mountain live? There he is. There he is. Maybe there's a bump here.
You didn't say anything about a mountain, Wes. now, do mountains present the biggest challenge for your students? That's been overall, if we had to take a poll or a survey of everyone we've spoken to on this podcast, I think mountains would win. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, mountains can be challenging. Oftentimes, clouds. A lot of folks blend the cloud. It's easy to do when you're doing white clouds. It's easy to blend them away. Clouds can sometimes be challenging, but I think you're right, Ron. The clouds definitely. I mean, the mountains are definitely pose the biggest. That they're the most difficult, especially the snow. Everybody really wants to be able to master that snow stroke that Bob has, and that takes years of practice, or one really strong year.
Well, I think I saw in one of the recent rewatch streams that like is the trick like you don't actually get the knife down on the canvas until like the very end when you're trying to get the snow. Is that correct? Am I remembering that right?
It's like it's really so. There's only so many words to use to describe it. You really have to practice, practice, and practice. And one thing that Bob suggests is that you do a whole canvas with nothing but mountains. Maybe paint a little bit of the top part blue, and then do a whole canvas of mountains. Scrape it off, and then do it again. Scrape it off, and then do it again. And by the end of your third one, you'll really get a feel for the way your mountain, how to give your mountains depth, and to get that stroke right there that he's doing. This is the fun part.
It's so satisfying.
By not over-mixing your paint, you get those spots that are a little bit pinker, some are a little whiter. People think you worked forever trying to get that. And it's
A
one of those
question in the
happy
chat.
accidents.
Wes, do you have any tips on a beginner such as myself
Let it go.
for buying a Bob Ross set and starting down my painting journey? Or any tips
Yeah.
on the tools I should get outside of the Bob Ross set?
Well, I would start off with the Bob Ross Masters set. It kind of comes with everything you need. It comes with a 1-inch brush. It comes with a fan brush, a palette knife, and it comes with a canvas and a little palette. And I think 8 colors to get yourself started.
Pick up some more of the highlight color, and now we can begin putting in all kinds of little bumps and crevices and You know, all those little things that make your mountain interesting.
Now, right
Wherever
there, he makes that mountain out of nowhere.
you can put them wherever.
That's a pretty good trick.
He's full of them.
If you
Yeah.
learn to do mountains, it'll teach you to use this knife. I don't know of any single thing that you can do that will do more to teach you control of the knife than making mountains. There. I'm using the little knife here because it sort of sneaks into those small areas much better. Put in a few
That
shadows.
blue-white color combo
Now, some
is
people
really
like to
making
put
it
shadows
pop.
in first and then
Unbelievable.
some
Yeah.
don't. Whichever way works for you.
Well, you learn something every time you watch him.
And that's all that counts. Okay. Need a little shadow
He's
here,
beat
too.
the devil out of it so many times so far in this episode. He's not even
Yeah.
he's not even regarding it anymore.
I'm
Lot of-
surprised there's
lot
any
of-
devil left.
That's a good one, Mark.
So
I think I've showed you
this is a winter scene, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you like to create
It's
I'm asking Bob.
another plane.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is take a little the shadow color. Look at that. See there?
man.
See how that brings a whole nother projection out on your mountain? There. Little tricks like that will make your paintings stand out from the average painting. That's what makes your painting special. There we go. Here and there.
See, the
wherever.
thrill I get is I know we're only halfway through the episode, and
Give him a good shake.
that means he's got another half an episode to fill the canvas, and it already looks dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks incredible.
Together.
Like for me, this would just already be a day's work. Like I'd be good. I'd be done.
Right, go drink your iced tea and have a good day. That's it. Go feed a squirrel, and you've done your job.
Yeah.
Let's take, we got some
Peapod.
lavender color here. We'll just use that. Put a little white with it. There we are. About that shade.
I
That's
like the
good.
sounds.
Okay, let me clean my knife here.
Oh yeah.
Him tapping.
I'll use a 1-inch brush. What the heck? You can use any old thing here. 2-inch brush would work fine, or a fan brush. Still using a lavender color though. I want to put the indication back here of some happy little foothills. There they go. There. I don't ever want to tell you there's one set rule to do anything. Because if it works for you, that's the rule. It works. It's good. There. I went to school for so many years with art instructors that would tell me, no, it has to be done this way or it's not right. Shoot. Any way you can get the effect that you want is right. There we are. Pull straight down, then lightly go across. And you have instant reflections. Now then, we'll take some liquid white. I'm going to put the least little touch of alizarin crimson into that, just to give it a
A
touch
little
of
water
pink.
line coming on.
Yeah.
There. Okay, got to cross it. Let's go right up here. Now then, let's
This
put
is
in
my
a
favorite
happy little
ASMR
water line
videos.
right here. Just act like you're trying to literally cut a hole right through the canvas. Look at there.
I feel like a dog who's just like, you got his spot.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
See there? A little
This
bit
part's
of
really
touch of
satisfying.
pink just adds a little warmth to it.
It's about
Just-
this part of the episode that I usually cozy out to sleep. So,
Right out here.
Go for it.
all right,
If you want a little ripple.
I'm rocking this
When I was in
coffee.
the military, I had a friend that had a lot of ripple. There we go.
Oh, there's
There's
his
a
ripple
ripple
joke.
joke.
We won't talk about that. All right,
We won't talk about that.
let's have some fun. Shoot, let's see here. We'll take some blue and some crimson. Gonna make a dark lavender color. Clean off the knife.
I mean, the guy's making booze jokes on public television in 1988.
Fan brush, it doesn't matter.
He's oozing confidence at this point.
Yeah.
Load the fan brush full. Let's have us a
Only
happy
in the
little
pocket,
evergreen
Bob.
tree. He lives.
Could pull that off.
Right
Here
there.
comes the
Doesn't
tree
matter.
that people have been chiming in about.
It's just a lavender color. See, just sort of back and forth, pushing downward. give him a little friend down here. This little guy. This is George out here. There. And he's his friend. They live
look,
out
it's
here
Mark
they
and
watch
Wes.
this big mountain. And they have a good time. Life's good to them out here.
Now, Wes, you're a tall man. I'm going to say you're the guy on the right.
Maybe
You're the tree on the right.
There's some reflection
Okay.
down here in the water.
Oh yeah, I've never been tall in my life.
Not yet. Life's not over, Mark.
That's true. I'm still growing.
There's still time.
Okay. Now we take our big brush and we grab that. Now the canvas is wet, so this will move. Look at that.
No reflections.
Can you imagine trying to do that on a dry canvas? Whew. Well, you'd be in Agony City. And you'd be mad at me
Agony
right
City.
now. Touch a little bit.
Well, we made it.
Liquid white.
It's not a
We
place
made
that
it.
you want to
Titanium
be.
white.
No,
Be right
I
back.
tell
Get
you,
a
I've
little
met the
crimson
mayor,
put in there.
and he lives right here in the East Village.
And I'm just going to push in some
Jay
highlights.
Kaiser,
Giant
9282. I
little
watched
brushy.
Bob Ross before bed last night, and it made me
Just a few little
so
brushes
happy.
Right there.
It's the best way to go to bed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of a water
Just a
line.
little shot of
Like a
joy
little
before
snow
you go to
laying
sleep.
here in the water. Maybe this is winter. Make a nice warm
You
winter
will rest
scene.
assured with sweet dreams.
Take a little white. I'll go right into that. See, we had some phthalo blue and white laying here. I'll use that. That's good. It's a nice cool color.
Bob
got
said
some
maybe
warm
it's
colors.
winter
So
when
let's
he
use a
put
nice
those. He
cool
put that snowbank under the trees there, right? And here he goes.
Yeah.
Right. So this always fascinates me as a storyteller myself. You know, making up stories, right? Do you do this, Wes? This is something that I ask all the CRIs. Like, do
Yeah.
you, when you do that
Yes.
canvas, okay, this is where we are, or do you just, you're not thinking about that aspect of it?
I do. I think I like to make up stories in between trees. That's really fun, and in between clouds, and in between the elements. It's good to have every part of your painting relate to each other, and it makes class a lot of fun too. And I think it really does help when you're making clouds to whisper.
I'm going to have a big
Interesting.
evergreen lives right there.
Yeah,
Take the brush, use just the
to
corner.
make the little wispy
and begin working
sounds.
it back and forth. Now look how that dark shows up against that light background. Isn't that spectacular?
Yeah.
That is spectacular.
Indeed.
And if you're out selling your paintings, that son of a gun, boy, that brings that happy buck home. People
Oh,
like that.
Taking notes,
Oh.
Wes?
It really looks
I
good.
am. Bob's teaching us how to earn an little extra Skrilla on the side.
There we are. I get carried away
I
sometimes.
love it. It's not that he's like marveling his own talent. He's marveling like nature through his painting. Like it's
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
There's no
so-
hubris at all. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep right on going there. There's another one. Now you can make these with a 1 or the 2-inch brush, whatever. I just happen to have a dirty fan brush, so I thought I'd use it. Now then,
Whenever
Let's
I
get
see
crazy.
trees, I
Over
get
here.
excited because I know there will be tree highlights at some point, and that's my absolute favorite. Now, this is a tree in midair. It's like a potential ruin moment here, but I trust you, Bob.
there we go. And all you're doing is pushing
That's
down
right.
with
Trust the
fan.
process.
Just pushing
Yes.
down. Maybe there's another one. There. And in your painting, you put as many or as few as you want. Sort of look at it and decide. Every single painting is different. We really are not trying to teach you to copy or to draw lines and fill in the lines. We're trying to teach you creativity. Trying to teach you how to create as you paint. There's freedom there. Scary what you can do. I'm gonna take the big brush, go right into the same color. Let's go back up here. Maybe there's some little
Snap
bushes
the
that
big
live right
See,
up. Ooh,
that's the
okay.
thing that, Wes, you can speak to, not just as a painter, but in your Blue Man world, the encouragement to be creative. We talked about that in the episode, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So Bob Ross trademark for any creative person, not just a painter.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the importance of the act of doing it, and just not being so concerned with the result all the time.
There we go. Now let's go on this side. Do some of that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for to like start doing this again. Is like I want that like feeling of just like doing something for art's sake and the process and not being worried about and just being on the journey.
Straight down.
Yeah.
There. Maybe this comes right on out here. Who knows?
I also like Bob's free and easy feeling when he does it too. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be laborious. It can be a meditative, fun event for yourself.
Let's take some dark sienna. A little white in it.
Going back to what I said earlier about the painting being halfway done, right? And look at it now.
Yeah. Stunning.
And when I say the ruin moment, we have some comments in the chat to the same effect about how he's covering up something that already looks great and somehow he's making it look even better.
Yeah.
Leaves and sticks and twigs that are in the foreground to cover up the trunk. There we go. Give it a little sidewards pull. Make it look round. Okay, now then, let me get some blue and white. And we'll just add a few highlights on these trees too.
Mark, does George the cat enjoy Bob Ross?
He does. He grew up
I don't want to lose that darkness.
watching this channel on YouTube, like every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night to like go to like with me to go to sleep. Like he,
Nice.
yeah. So it to the point where like whenever I turn it on, he comes and hops on the bed or hops on the couch. It's pretty.
Does
nice.
he lose his mind when a squirrel or a baby robin shows up, or is it...
Yeah. He's like, Peapod, what's going on?
Go right into titanium white. Load a lot of color into the brush.
I have some footage on my phone of him like
And let's just
tapping the TV screen along with Bob painting.
Oh,
I'll find it and I'll share it with you. No, sir.
little cat
Wes,
Ross.
see there. Working
Wes, our friend
layers.
Coffee Dog, says, I've never painted, but he makes this look so easy, but doubt it is. Do you want to debunk that theory?
Look at those.
Yes, you can do it. It's the term easy is a loose term, I would say, but it's a very fun way to paint. Bob calls it a lazy man's way to paint because you can get so many amazing effects by watching some of the techniques that he introduces on the show.
Little
I was going
touch
to say
of
this is a winter scene, but it gives you like a warm
water line
feeling,
right along here.
even though it's a cold
Look
day.
at that. And we have a finished painting. That's all there is to it. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's bright and shiny. It'll make you happy. From all of us here, happy painting and God bless.
Happy painting.
God bless you,
Beautiful.
Bob. Squeeze NJ. I think Bob said he didn't paint to show you how good he was. He painted to show you how great you could be.
Oh,
I love that.
so
That's
true.
let's put a pin in that. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Da, 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 da. What were you doing in 1988, Wes?
Oh, I was probably in junior high school in Colorado, and I probably had a cast on my leg. I had to have surgery on my leg, and I was off of it for about 3 years, from about 1987 to 1989.
Not the answer I would have expected.
Wow.
Yeah. I was probably in Colorado though, looking at some mountains, just like Bob's painting. It's like Bob's paintings. Yeah.
Before we go, guys, tell us where we can find out more about you. Certified Bob Ross instructor Wes Day. Where can we find out how to take a painting class with you and what's going on in your world?
Yeah, you can go to westday.com. My schedule is right there on the homepage. All of my information is right there. And my classes take place in Manhattan at West 29th Street between 6th and 7th. Yeah, I would love to see you in class. It's a lot of fun.
Westday.com. That domain was available.
Yeah, that domain was available. Yeah, that's my name. Westday.com. It's real easy to remember. Yeah.
And then, Mark, how about yourself? You have this new Mashable podcast. Where can we listen to that?
That's right. Yeah, you can find it on mashable.com/series/say more, or you can just go to any other YouTube or any of our socials and just find us at Mashable, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Look up Mashable Say More. And then I have an improvised play that myself and Philson Schmilson do, also on 29th, 26th, and 7th at People's Improv Theater once a month. And you can check that out at the Pit's website at thepit.nyc.com.
Fantastic. And social media for you is?
For me, Stetson again, STETSON AGAIN
You
on
got
all socials.
Stetson again and more.
That's
And
right.
Wes, how about you?
I'm on Instagram at the West Day Show. The
Excellent.
West Day
Excellent.
Show.
I love that show.
Yeah. Tune in, check it out. Must see TV.
Thanks to everyone who's joined us for this impromptu Twitch Bob Ross rewatch party. You can follow all things Bob Ross, including this podcast, on Instagram at Bob Ross _ The Joy of Painting, Facebook at The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. As I've said, we do these rewatches once every month, in addition to delivering original Bob Ross inspired stories of joy. Find out more about the joy of Bob Ross, a happy little podcast, at bobross.com/podcast. You can check out our catalog of colorful episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you have a Bob Ross story to tell, why have you not told us? Send us an email at podcast@bobross.com, or you can call us on the phone at 866-FANBRUSH. That is a real phone number. I'm Ron Scalzo, reminding you that you're only limited by your imagination. So don't forget to check your spelling, stretch your legs, work late, watch old movies, feed the birds and the squirrels, and you too can be an almighty podcast host. Happy streaming and good game, my friends.